Song and Story World. Song and Story World.
Hello and welcome to Song and Story World. For this first series of episodes, we're presenting some of Aesop's fables. Aesop was a man who lived a long time ago and wrote stories which make people think as well as being fun. Have a listen and see what Aesop's stories might teach you.
We bring you some. We bring you some of Aesop's fables. Aesop's fables.
When you think about it, you can't actually see the wind. You can feel it blowing against you. You can see what it does, bending plants and trees, blowing things along the streets and pavements, making massive waves in the sea, even blowing houses down. The wind can be very gentle, a little breeze, or incredibly strong, a hurricane. The sun is a little bit like that. In the springtime it can be very weak, hardly warming you up, but in the middle of summer it can be fierce, too hot to bear sometimes, and without doubt it can burn you. In some parts of the world it can cause scary forest fires and even make deserts. And of course, you must never, ever look straight at the sun, because it can burn your eyes, even when it seems weak. By the way, even on a dull, cloudy day, when it's raining or snowing, the sun is always there above the clouds. It's just that you can't see it. You can always see it if you take a journey on an aeroplane, of course, because you're way above the clouds that bring rain or snow. The wind and the sun were always arguing. I'm stronger than you are. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Am not. I don't suppose you've ever been in an argument like that, have you? One day they decided to have a competition to finally decide which one was the stronger. A man, Joe Bloggs let's call him, although why would we want to do that when his real name was Arthur Sixpence, is beyond me. Anyway, Joe, or Arthur, decided he would go for a walk. Joe, or Arthur, liked walking. He did it whenever he got the chance, even when it was raining or snowing. On this particular day, he looked out of his back window. He could see the grass that needed cutting, the weeds that needed pulling up, the shed door that needed repairing, the hedge that needed clipping, and he thought to himself, "Oh, I just can't be bothered. I think I'll go for a walk instead." He often said that to himself, and that's why the grass needed cutting, the weeds needed pulling up, the shed door needed repairing, and the hedge needed clipping. Still, never mind. A brisk walk was much more fun. He looked up at the sky. It looked a bit dull, but it wasn't raining. Joe, or Arthur, couldn't decide what to take with him on his walk. He crossed things off a list in his head. Wellies? No, the ground was dry, and it didn't actually look like rain. Hat? Should I or shouldn't I? In the end he decided no, although his hat, he thought, did make him look quite posh. Umbrella? No, they didn't look like rain clouds. Sandwiches? No, he probably wouldn't walk too far, because he really must get back and cut the grass, weed the flower beds, repair the shed and trim the hedge, if he could be bothered. He probably wouldn't. Flask of coffee? Same as for the sandwiches. Coat? Well, yes. The weather didn't look too brilliant, so he decided not to risk it altogether. His coat was a particularly posh one. Everyone would think he was posh, though why he would want that is beyond me. So, coat on, open the front door, sniff the air, close the front door, after stepping outside, of course, and perambulate. That's a posh word for walk. Joe liked posh, although you wouldn't think so looking at his back garden. Meanwhile, the wind and the sun were thinking about their competition. Just then they saw Joe, or Arthur, perambulating in his fine coat. "Oh, he looks posh," they both said. "Let's see which one of us can get his posh coat off, shall we?" "Great idea. I'll go first," said the wind. "Okie dokie," said the sun. Without much more ado, the wind started to blow. Gently at first, a light breeze, but enough to ruffle Joe's or Arthur's hair. Then he blew a bit harder. Wind getting up a bit, thought Joe or Arthur, as an empty crisp packet floated past him. The wind blew harder. "Goodness me," thought Joe or Arthur, as a road repair sign blew over further up the road. "It's getting a bit frisky." The wind blew harder still. A lady across the street lost her not very posh hat as it sailed off along the pavement. Not a very posh hat, thought Joe or Arthur, as he wrapped his arms tightly around himself to stop his posh coat blowing off. The wind blew harder still, and the sign for a cobbler's shop was wrenched from its hanger and just missed a black cat that was scurrying to get safe. "That was lucky," thought the cat. "Only 7 more lives left." Joe, or Arthur, was hanging on to his coat for dear life and leaning into the wind to stop from being blown over. Suddenly, everything went still. "I'm puffed out," said the wind. "Your turn." The sun was very confident. He started to smile. The clouds scurried off into the blue yonder. Joe, or Arthur, stood up straight and loosened the grip on his coat. "Looks like it's going to be a nice day after all," he thought. Oh, yes, it was. The sun grinned. The black cat found a safe corner to curl up in the sunshine. The sun beamed. A bead of sweat formed on the forehead of Joe or Arthur. The sun laughed, quietly of course, and people started to swelter. Joe, or Arthur, started to unbutton his posh coat. The wind couldn't look. Joe, or Arthur, took off his coat. "Cool, it's turned into a stonker," he thought. Yes, a stonker it was. In a few minutes the weather had turned from very, very windy to very, very, very hot. "Must get home and put my posh shorts on," thought Joe or Arthur. "Too hot to work in the garden now. I'll just have a lemonade and rest in the shade." Which is what he did. "OK, you win," said the wind, "this time. Next time we'll have a competition to blow a tree down, eh?" That really got the sun worried. Everyone's good at what they're good at, eh?
Pleasant weather, take a stroll along the lane. It's pleasant weather, wear a coat in case of rain. And the wind looked down and saw the man walking and just wanted some fun. And he thought he'd blow down on the man walking and blow buttons undone. But the sun high in the sky said, "Oh no you won't, no matter how hard you try." Pleasant weather, take a stroll along the lane. It's pleasant weather, wear a coat in case of rain. And the wind said, "Yes, for sure I can, yes I can. Just wait and you'll see, because I've blown trees and fences and houses down, no problem for me. And I don't care what you say, I'm very strong. I'll blow the man's coat away. Harder and harder and harder and harder, harder he blew. Harder and harder and harder and harder, harder he blew. But the man held tight with all his might, and the coat stayed on. Pleasant weather, pleasant weather, take a stroll along the lane. It's pleasant weather, wear a coat in case of rain. And the sun said, I can easily, peasily get the coat off his back. You can do it oh so easily, peasily, all you need is the knack. And he grinned and smiled away, just smiled away, smiled up a great cloudless day. Hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, hotter it grew. Hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, hotter it grew. And the man was boiled, his walk was spoiled, till the coat came off. Sunny weather, sunny weather.
Look out for more Aesop songs and stories soon, and don't forget to tell your friends about this podcast. Thanks for listening.
Song and story.